Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's event, the Surrey Renewable Energy Forum and the 18th Annual Surrey Environment and Business Awards. 18 years, wow, amazing. Thank you all for your support. I am Jazrub Gosal. I'm the interim spokesperson and policy and research manager at the Surrey Board of Trade. And I want to thank you all for supporting Surrey's city building business organization, and where we are ensuring that investments and support are provided to all of Surrey. And I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, specifically the Kwantlen, Katzie, Coquitlam, Kaikait, Semiahmoo, and Tsawwassen First Nations. As well, I acknowledge the Inuit and Métis Nations people who live and work on these territories. They all have a profound connection to the land and water surrounding Surrey. Now, everyone, please help me thank our sponsors of this event, our co-presenting sponsors, Fortis BC and PowerTech Labs, Inc. Our supporting sponsors, Invest Vancouver, a service of Metro Vancouver. Our award sponsor, EXP Services, Inc. Our community sponsor, Foresight Canada. Our media sponsor, the Surrey Now Leader. And last but not least, our progress partners, the Chamber of Commerce Group Insurance Plan by SNF Group Benefits, the law firm of Faskin and Focus College, and Lighthouse Labs and Western Community College. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask you to please help me welcome our government representatives in the audience today. We have City of Surrey Councillor Linda Annis. Thank you for being here. And as a not-for-profit, the Surrey Board of Trade supports and attracts business. We are a concierge of connections, where our mandate is also to instigate change through our government advocacy. In addition, the Surrey Board of Trade provides opportunity to our business and organizations with workplace development, international trade support, business connections. Check out our website at businessinsurrey.com for more information. And the Surrey Board of Trade is the go-to place for entrepreneurial services through our Business and International Center. The Surrey Board of Trade's environment team also exists to consider policy and educate businesses on the environment while promoting and developing green initiatives and a clean energy future. Large businesses have the resources to make a change, but so do small and medium-sized businesses. The Surrey Board of Trade's Environment and Natural Resources Policy Team Chair, Jay Rao, represents us on the National Zero Waste Council, which is a leadership initiative of Metro Vancouver, bringing together organizations to advance waste prevention and circular economy in Canada. So we thank Jay for his contributions. Now, I would like to welcome Kim Halowski, Community Relations Manager of Fortis BC, our co-presenting sponsor, to come forward for their remarks. Thank you, Kim.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd first like to acknowledge that I'm also speaking here today on the traditional and ancestral territories of the Katzie, Semiahmoo, Kwantlen, and other Coast Salish peoples. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Kim Halowski. I'm a Community Relations Manager with Fortis BC, and my team and I work with many of you to ensure that residents as well as businesses in Surrey continue to receive the energy that they depend on every day. Fortis BC's head office is located in Surrey, and I also live, work, and play here, so this city has a great meaning for myself. And as a company, we are committed to being active and engaged with members of all the communities that we serve. And this means investing within the city of Surrey and also working with organizations and people to ensure the well-being of this province. As BC's largest energy provider, Fortis BC has a critical role playing in shaping our province's low-carbon and energy future. And that means providing energy that is affordable, is safe, and also with an eye on economic growth and well-being of businesses and residents. With close to 1.3 million customers across the province and more than 2,700 employees, we're invested in the province's future. That is why we're constantly looking for innovative ways that we can work together to help our customers reduce their overall carbon emissions and also look at practical and affordable ways to do so. That's why we're also working hard to increase our supply of renewable and low-carbon gases. And most recently, you may have heard that this past summer we introduced a designated RNG blend, that's renewable natural gas, and that's for all of our customers. So currently, all FortisBC customers receive a 1% designated RNG blend, a first for any energy utility company in North America. We have the infrastructure as well as the resources in place to support emissions reductions, but we can't do it alone. So working with partners like the City of Surrey, Surrey Board of Trade, and many businesses in the room, we can share our successes. In fact, one of the most significant projects that we're working on and have been for many years is our partnership with the City's Surrey biofuel facility. This facility captures biogas collected from curbside organics, the waste that you bring out to the curb every week, and it purifies it to produce renewable natural gas, or the RNG that we put and inject into our system. And this helps buildings as well as transportation sectors reduce their emissions. My colleague Dana Wong will be on the panel shortly, and she may expand a little bit more about RNG and our partnership with Surrey Biofuel. So this facility is simply an example of a partnership that's working, and also partnerships that we want to continue to build and be more successful and build our relationship with businesses in Surrey. So on behalf of FortisBC, I'd like to say thank you to the Surrey Board of Trade for hosting this wonderful event. I'd also like to congratulate all of the nominees for their wonderful and innovative projects. Your leadership in climate action truly is inspiring, so I just want to thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions or business opportunities, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any FortisBC colleagues. Enjoy the afternoon, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Kim. And now I'd like to welcome President of Invest Vancouver, Jackie Griffiths, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Invest Vancouver. My name is Jackie Griffiths, and it's my honor to lead this great team. I want to begin by acknowledging that Metro Vancouver residents live, work, and learn on the shared territory of 10 First Nations. We also acknowledge the importance of the broader Indigenous community, and we are committed to economic reconciliation in the region. I also want to extend my gratitude to the Surrey Board of Trade for hosting this important event for all of us today. And I want to congratulate all the nominees and award recipients for their contributions to our economy. Our mandate is to attract strategic investment to the region so that we can promote prosperity with an abundance of high-quality jobs within the region for our residents. The City of Surrey is the fastest-growing city centre within the Metro Vancouver region, and we want to make sure that the City of Surrey is the strongest in terms of economic growth and opportunity for those residents. It's amazing to see how many leaders and champions are being recognized today for their contributions. And clean tech across the region continues to grow and thrive, and our commitment to sustainability is one that is recognized worldwide. It's important because it shows how much green and innovation is key and how attractive that is for global investors. Not only does it help us with our net zero targets, but it also creates economic opportunities, it drives innovation, and it attracts and retains talent within the region. This is talent that is unparalleled in the world. The Metro Vancouver region is known as a global center for excellence and R&D. We need to continue to work together to meet the needs of our evolving economy, and I know that today's awards is a key part of that. So please join me as we continue to support and encourage a strong regional culture of innovation and support this ecosystem as we continue to chart our way as a global leader in clean innovation. Thank you, and enjoy the awards.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Now I would like to begin with the panel of speakers. I invite the following to take their seats on the stage. Each panelist will take turns presenting in order, beginning with Kylie Williams, Regional Director for BC of Foresight Canada, Darren Bromley, Director of Business Development, PowerTech Labs, and Dana Wong, Senior Manager of Renewable and Low Carbon Fuel Strategy at Fortis BC. Please come up on stage. Thank you. Now we can begin with you, Kylie.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for that introduction, Jasroop. And I'd like to echo your thanks to the Indigenous peoples whose traditional lands we're on today. Foresight is Canada's largest clean tech innovation and adoption accelerator. We exist to connect innovators, industry, investors, government, and academia to solve the world's most urgent climate challenges. We exist because climate challenges are complex and we can all get stuck. As individuals, as small businesses, and even as whole sectors and industries. Working together helps us identify and overcome barriers and adopt clean tech solutions faster. There are two main ways that Foresight Canada does this. One is helping clean tech ventures. And by ventures, I mean individual innovators with an idea, small to medium businesses focused on developing and commercializing the clean technologies that we need to reduce our environmental impact, and helping those innovators and small to medium businesses reach the next level, whatever that may be. We have about a dozen programs that help innovators connect with investors and small businesses grow to the next level. We want them to land in the we want them to land at the right place and the right time in the market. The second way that we connect and accelerate adoption of clean technologies is through clean tech clusters. Clean tech clusters are something that exist all over the world. They're communities of people either brought together by a geographic area or from a particular challenge in clean tech that requires the assistance of other people to figure out the problems, get over the barriers, and get to those adoptions. So that's my particular role at Foresight Canada. I am the Regional Director for BC, and in BC we have something unique called the BC Net Zero Innovation Network. And what we do is we have 4 clusters, one focused on clean transportation, one on mining innovation, another on forestry and the bioeconomy, and a 4th on water. And our role is to embed our project managers in the ecosystem so they can be part of these important conversations, where the barriers are, who's supplying investor dollars, who's buying these products, and where they can go next. So in most cases, we start with a working group. That's where we invite different players to the table to talk about a common problem. An example of this is in our mining cluster. So if all the mines in British Columbia wanted to go electric, all of the trucks, all of the processing, all of those things, well, we need to work together to get electricity to those places. We need to know when those mines are going to open. So we have a working group that involves BC Hydro, the Mining Association of British Columbia, some miners themselves, and some clean tech innovators. So we get all of those together to look at the problem and get over that problem together. Often our working groups create projects. They kind of spin out of the working group when people find each other and realise they have a common problem. One of the cool projects we're happening right now is up near Quesnel in northern BC. As we all know, forestry is going through a bit of a tough time in British Columbia, and it's really evolving. And so what we're doing is bringing people together, engineers, forestry companies, and innovators, to figure out what we can do with the waste in the forests and create new products that could replace petrochemicals and have a sustainable source of these new products, and finding a market for those. So the work we do at the Net Zero Innovation Network is funded by industry. It's funded by the federal government through the Pacific Economic Development Fund, and also through the BC, make sure I get it right, Energy Mines and Low Carbon Innovation. So the bottom line is that we exist to bring people together because we are much more efficient together than we are apart, struggling individually. So if there's any clean tech ventures in the room who are ready to take it to the next level, or anyone who has an idea for a project, my email's just over there. You can also visit the website. And I'd like to add my congratulations to the winners and finalists who are here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for Surrey Board of Trade for putting on this fantastic event. Also, all the other speakers, the territorial acknowledgements. We're in a week that's coming up to Truth and Reconciliation, and it's not just a day for myself, it's a journey. And one thing that I love is in this room, everybody is looking forward to how are we going to take care of this land that's been under fantastic custodianship for 2,000 plus years. How are we going to keep this tradition going forward? So it's a team effort. PowerTech is a proud Surrey business and proud to support the Renewable Energy Forum as a gold sponsor. My name is Darren Bromley. I'm Director of Business Development at PowerTech Labs. And as a long Surrey resident, it's been fascinating to observe the changes over the last only 20 years that I've been living here. But just this morning, my daughters were asking me why I wore a tie today. And I took the time to talk about the role of businesses they play in supporting many cases leading our global transformation from fossil fuels. And I think they regretted asking me the question, but even though I tried to work in some of their slang, like fit and drip and those new terms. But I can't help but wonder what the world is going to be like that they grow up in and live in. We've seen the effect of humankind it's had on extreme weather events. Humanity's course, and it's like a large ship. It takes a while to turn it around. And it takes effort and ingenuity and cooperation, and that's why we're here today. So in addition to celebrating today's award nominees, I'd like to share some of the latest activities that's going on at PowerTech Labs and our common goal of decarbonization. So if this is going to work. Okay, so if you, maybe show of hands, have you heard of PowerTech? That is fantastic. I often go to international conferences where there might be a couple hands. We like to think of ourselves as the world's best kept secret, but luckily the secret's out in Surrey here. We once were a research and development branch within BC Hydro, so obviously a clean energy focus. About 35 years ago, 1988, we're a subsidiary, so we're offering our services to the rest of the world. We have about 30 labs across our building, multiple campuses, and just last year we have our first subsidiary in the US, and we focus not just on power utility, clean energy, integration of renewables, but also on the hydrogen sector. So if you ever have the chance to come by 124th Avenue and 88th, that's where we're located, our main labs. Very interesting, fascinating things going on in our high voltage lab, our high power lab, our grid automation. I have colleagues over here can speak endlessly, so feel free to reach out to my PowerTech colleagues. But I want to speak a little bit more about what we're doing in decarbonization of transportation. So up on the screen here, just some of the more impressive images. Our labs over the past 30 years have been developing test equipment and expertise to certify components that go into hydrogen power vehicles. And you can see some of the tests that we do, they can be volatile. Very exciting, but we commit to doing them safely and with very high quality, so we have the confidence to adopt these new technologies. Examples of vehicle fire and hydrogen release, and this is not just what we are trying to prevent, but how to control as we expect the unexpected. So these world firsts have attracted the attention of automotive manufacturers across the world. Almost every single automotive manufacturer in hydrogen has come through our labs for certification. So we end today with our very reliable technology that you can see facing the public. We also have a product line that is going across the globe. We have hydrogen refueling and transport solutions that take us all the way from electrolyzer, where hydrogen is produced, right through to the end use of the inlet of the vehicle. We have export systems that fill the transport trailers. We design and build the transport trailers themselves and offer mobile refueling solutions. And we have about 27 stationary, public and commercial hydrogen refueling stations for lightweight and heavy-duty vehicles. We have one that is underway, but it'll be the first in Surrey coming up. Watch your news feed. This is a very interesting project just to touch on, because it takes an isolated approach of a solar array on top of the Doug Mitchell parking at UBC, on-site electrolyzing, turning water into hydrogen and compressing and storing, and then dispensing. That's a rendering on the right, but it is just as beautiful. If you have a chance, you haven't already, head out to UBC, check it out. That's done with PowerTech technology for compression, storage, and dispensing. We are also supporting BC Hydro in their deployment of public electric vehicle charging. We have supported the evaluation of new technology. We want to be able to trust that it is going to work when we go to charge our vehicle, and managing the quality assurance and dispatch of all of the public infrastructure across BC. So we have a target by 2030 to have at least 3,500 public charging stations, and we are well on our way. And we're also doing some interesting project to manage that electricity. You'll see in this picture we have a demonstration project of battery power to support the grid for peak shaving, ensuring the power quality going into the grid is acceptable and does not create disturbances. And this is one of Canada's, if not the world's, first true vehicle-to-grid demonstration. So it's through all of these efforts that we're tackling those problems that face the industry and allow us to take the next step to a cleaner and decarbonized future. I have here a QR if you have time and you want to follow it, not just selfies of me at these types of events, but PowerTech's LinkedIn site. Then you can see what's the latest and greatest, and I look forward to more discussions. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here today. It's really exciting to be a part of this event that celebrates sustainability and innovation. Sustainability and innovation at FortisBC are deeply important to us, and we try to embed these items in everything that we do. I was thinking I'd spend a few minutes talking about where we've come from and where we're planning to go in BC's energy future. And I'd say that it was really around 2009, 2010, and 11 where we really started to think about how we can better serve our customers with lower carbon energy solutions and helping them reduce their energy use. So it was around that time that we started accelerating development of our energy efficiency and conservation programs, supporting our customers with incentives and rebates that many of you hopefully take advantage of to reduce your energy use. Things like now we have offerings of dual fuel hybrid systems, gas-fired heat pumps, other new energy technologies. Again, we're really excited that we've been approved to spend up to just about very close to $700 million over 4 years to support our gas and electric customers in reducing their energy use. We also, at that time, started developing alternative fuel solutions, so for natural gas for transportation to help our customers in the on-road and marine sectors reduce the climate impact of the energy that they use. And of course, renewable natural gas. Kim spoke about it earlier. We first brought renewable natural gas, or RNG, onto our system in 2011. And as mentioned, we have a partnership with the City of Surrey Biofuels Facility. And actually, just a timeout here. If anybody's not as familiar with RNG, or renewable natural gas, what we do there is basically collect the biogas that occurs naturally from places like landfills, wastewater treatment plants, decomposing organic matter like farm waste, food waste, and so on. We collect that naturally occurring biogas, we clean it up, and then we inject it into our pipeline so that we can displace conventional natural gas. It allows us to not procure as much conventional natural gas as we otherwise would need to serve our customers. So anyway, RNG has been a very key component of our sustainability strategy in helping our customers clean up and use a lower carbon fuel option. But today, we are actually focusing as well on hydrogen, because we do believe that hydrogen, we're laying the foundation for hydrogen to play a very important role in BC's clean energy future. Again, let me first back up a minute and just explain what is hydrogen and why do we think that hydrogen is so important to BC's energy future. So hydrogen is a clean, versatile, it's a safe energy carrier that is actually carbon-free at the point of use. And that makes it really important for any kind of clean energy and climate plan. Of course, the carbon emissions come off of the production process, right? So we're really focused on developing cleaner, renewable, low-carbon hydrogen. And actually, just earlier this year, a couple months ago, our government actually set a carbon intensity threshold. So we're focusing on producing hydrogen that falls with a carbon intensity that falls below this threshold. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So because it's carbon-free at the end use, it makes it a really important tool in our toolbox to help our customers, again, decarbonize the energy that they're using for transportation, for industry, for high heat applications, those hard-to-abate sectors that need some more energy density in the fuel that they're using. You know, the other really interesting thing about hydrogen is that it enables a path to bridge the electric and the gas fuel systems. You know, Fortis BC, we've been trying to promote some education and awareness around our diversified pathway to hitting BC's climate targets. And we've done a lot of research and analysis that really shows if we want to hit our 2030, 2040, and 2050 BC clean energy and climate targets, we will have to leverage every tool that we can in our toolboxes on both the gas side and the electric side. So at the end of the day, maybe I'll just wrap it up and say that RNG, renewable natural gas, is here to stay. We are very proud of the work that we've been achieving to date with our RNG portfolio, partnering with other producers, City of Surrey, across BC, Canada, and even North America wide. And looking out into the future, we really see an enormous opportunity for hydrogen, leveraging BC's natural resources to produce renewable and low-carbon hydrogen. Because at the end of the day, we also see that hydrogen will be one of the most cost-effective clean energy fuels that can power BC to a net zero future. And at the end of the day, no energy transition can be sustainable if we can't afford to pay it, right? We still need our customers to be able to heat their homes, fuel their vehicles, and so on. So I'm looking forward to all your questions in our follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very informative presentation by our panelists. I now ask our guests, there is a microphone here in the middle of the room. If you have any questions that have percolated as they were providing their presentation, please do come to the mic, state your name, your company name, and then your question, and our panel will answer those. I will exercise MC's prerogative because I have a couple of questions that jumped out to me. So you mentioned, it was mentioned that small businesses, that innovative technologies are needed in combating climate change and being part of this future that we hope to build. What role do startups and small businesses play in driving this environmental change, and how can we support them to scale their impact? Support them in terms of scaling up their operations, commercialization, and are there any barriers that you can identify?
Testing. There we go. I can probably answer that in one word, and it's money. The biggest barrier is finding investors and finding investors at the right time. So sometimes it's just an idea, and the particular business or the innovator might need some advice on how to market themselves, how to connect with investors. There's what some researchers call a bit of a valley of death. There's a exciting new idea that people want to invest in, and then there's the hard slog of building towards a pilot study or getting that business up and running, and then investors are interested again. So I think what it is thinking about your risk tolerance as an investor and looking for the long game. So where are they going to be in a few years?
Okay. Great, thank you. And also from just a slightly different perspective, but taking that idea of early adoption. Now, PowerTech's role really is in evaluating technology, and we find that creativity and that willingness to take risk really starts with those small companies, where it comes from an idea, take it to that tangible. They rely on companies like PowerTech to fully evaluate with our, expensive, honestly, infrastructure and some of our outside expertise to get to that next level. Now, that all can't be done without some funding sources, and taking the various pieces, getting them all to move together at the same pace and in the same direction, that takes a lot of outside efforts. So I do think not just the ideas and energy from the small startup companies, but the collaboration across the various bodies is paramount.
I guess I'd say that if there are any companies out there, small startups looking at also helping decarbonize the gaseous fuel system, we do have the Clean Growth Innovation Fund, which allows us to spend up to $4.9 million every year to explore such technologies. It's a little bit easier, or I shouldn't say easier. There are more technologies and pathways to decarbonize on the electric side of their business, and so the CGIF, the Clean Growth Innovation Fund, is really designed to support those earlier stage technologies and ideas that can help decarbonize the gaseous fuel side.
Thank you very much. Please do come up to the mic, and I see Rob here at the mic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jazz. My name's Rob Fallman. I'm with Excel Career College, and we focus on building employees for the future. Speaking of which, all innovation relies heavily upon an educated workforce that is able to pivot and to be able to expand outside of what is normally done. Where do you folks find your employees to be able to help support your new innovations, and more precisely, what programs are they coming out of?
I don't mind starting. Oh, hello. All right, so yeah, that's a fantastic question, because I do look at people as one of our biggest risks at PowerTech. We invest a lot in our people, and if they have aspirations outside of PowerTech, we wish them well, but there goes a lot of that body of knowledge. And filling those vacancies, we do depend on the institutions that are providing the training to have programs that are applicable. So we've heard a lot about hydrogen. There is not a lot out there in terms of programs that prepare people, technicians, technologists, or even the engineers for what we do at PowerTech. So we're constantly looking at adjacent industries and adaptable skills and bringing them on board. It's a long path to get them to work with hydrogen. And now that's on our hydrogen side, but it seems as though across all of our disciplines of engineering, it tends to be very niche. So the on-the-job training becomes ever important, but the cooperations that we establish with the universities and the institutes of technology locally and even further, we welcome the groups to come in to learn about what we're doing. I myself am on advisory committee for the next generation of instruction at UBC as an example. So bringing the industry into the universities and other institutes of technology, that's a cooperation that we can prepare those like yourself for our next generation of workforce.
Maybe if I could just add, I think Fortis takes a very similar approach here, and I think, at the end, we need to hire very flexible, open-minded thinkers who can really draw some parallels and analyses. There's a lot of on-the-job learning. For example, I'll give you an example right now. In the renewable gas space, carbon intensity is a very big deal. And establishing greenhouse gas accounting metrics and inventories at the fuel level, at the systems level, it's just becoming fluent in different languages, so to speak. So understanding what those newer languages are, whether it's greenhouse gas emissions accounting or something else. On the engineering side, it's being adaptable, open to learning new ideas, and we do have already partnerships with academic institutions as well that we feed into some of our internships and programs and whatnot, but we're just open for smart, talented, creative thinkers, right? So wherever they come from, we'd love to hear from them.
I'm going to echo both of those comments. I think the most valuable is when students follow their passion, so it's something that they're really excited about, but then keep their minds open to different fields of work. My background is in mineral exploration and mining, and I know a lot of young people are put off by that old-fashioned sector. But there's a lot of clean tech, there's a lot of AI, there's a lot of really exciting new stuff. But just being open-minded and having that exposure at the school level to different fields and following their passion.
Thank you very much. It's such an innovative, growing field, and we want to be there to help support this next economy, this next phase in the growth of Surrey and of British Columbia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Please.
Hi, Jazz. It's Paul Gill from AGS Management. I've been working in startups for about 20 years, and you hit the nail on the head when you said money and investment. How are we going to get people incentivized to participate? And I think there's a lot of programs that are available. They're just independent of each other, and no one knows what's going on in various different groups. So I would say that, talk to your accountant about all of the various different critical minerals flow-through investment strategies there are. People don't use them enough. And I think that just recently there was a $50 million investment by the federal government into Yukon and British Columbia. And there hasn't been enough news on it. So news media, pay attention to this stuff too, wherever you guys are. So the thing that we have to do here is what we are is we're kind of like in Surrey or in Canada, a group of people that have to develop companies that ultimately will get their success in the United States. And that is where everything is going. Everything is coming onshore. Whether it be mineral development or technology development, we have to be, lined up that way. That's the way the world is going. And I think that, if we had better handoffs from one, funding segment or one group to the next, and ultimately to the U.S., I think would be really important because there's a lot of very good groups doing work. We just need to have more integration. So I don't know if that's a question or a comment, but I'll leave it at that.
I would agree with you 100%. I think that's something that's really successful about the Foresight model is that the ventures go through as cohorts, so they stay connected to each other and they hear about funding opportunities through the government or through industry support or just interested investors. I think it's that communication, but it's also tough on the innovators and small to medium business. They have to wear so many hats as it is, and then they have to be across international opportunities as well. So I think it's tough, but I think working together and keeping in touch with your cohort is a really important and successful model.
I don't have a lot to add to that. I think it was well said. But one of the avenues that we take too is the various trade commissions. As I mentioned before, as we've heard, that bringing the right parties together is part of the battle. But to usher that along and find those opportunities, whether it's funding or innovation, it takes not just two to tango, but maybe three or four to tango, and that's a lot of people with different motivations, and it does take almost a third party to corral and guide those ideas. That's not historically in my history at PowerTech over the last 22 years, but it's definitely the future. We can go further together.
Thank you very much. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Steven Andrada, Director of Employment of Western Community College. For all of you, in particular, it's just a follow-up question with what Rob had asked. I know you mentioned that you need talent training specifically for the industry, and you did mention about academia and partnerships, but how do you see private learning institutions come into play here? Because you work closely with public schools most of the time. Like you mentioned about BCIT, but so far we have not heard any partnerships that you had with private learning institutions like Western Community College. So what if we are in a situation as a department that we develop training programs that are labor market driven and it's specific to the needs that you have? How do you see that partnership going on or collaboration going on along with the Surrey Board of Trade?
I feel like I'm speaking a lot, but I would say first that my personal experience is through my network. I came from UBC, but we have, because of the geographical location, tight ties to SFU. They are just born out of the relationships, and sometimes the approach to PowerTech is what initially sparks it. So I'd love to hear more. It's not public versus private, it's just where is their interest and where's their opportunity. As I mentioned, to be invited onto advisory committees for what does the next generation of course curriculum look like. Can we host a tour? Can we take on a co-op or work placement programs? It's something we're just hungry for, and I'm agnostic to private versus public as far as institutions go. So bring on the ideas.
I'd also say that FortisBC is a very large organization, so it might also depend on exactly what area you'd be looking at targeting, right? We have a lot of engineering-based roles. We also have a lot of non-engineering-based roles and communications and strategy and so on. So again, I don't want to echo you all the time, but it's not. I wouldn't call there to be a division between public and private sector schools per se. It's just it can be easier to form partnerships with larger academic institutions just because they offer a broader programming. But if there's something in particular that you have in mind, we'd be certainly open to entertaining an idea.
Thank you very much. Follow-up question?
No, just Kylie's thoughts on that as well.
We don't work too much with directly with universities, but we do often have researchers in our projects, especially when we're getting over those clean tech challenges. So we don't have a lot of sway when it comes to that field of expertise.
Thank you.
Please.
Hi, my name is Wayne Cousins. I'm here as an interested citizen. What do you think are the two most common reasons that get in the way of British Columbians using energy more sustainably?
Should I go first this time? I would think education would be one. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of competing information out there. So it's hard to really discern what makes sense, and there's, okay, so there's also what makes sense in the short term and what makes sense over the longer term, right? Part of the reason why we are very committed to developing renewable gas resources for our customers is that it is a lower carbon, it is a more cost-effective energy option, right, for heating applications. And, you know, electrification is a solution for the energy transition, absolutely, but electricity can be more expensive, so it's not for all customers, right? And we do believe that customers should have the right to choose which energy works best for them. So obviously the onus is on us to make sure that we have enough renewable energy to supply to our customers today and moving into the future. Another challenge for consumers or customers using more cleaner energy, that was the question?
Sustainable energy.
Sustainable energy. I'd say cost, right? You know, renewable natural gas is a drop-in fuel. So you, as a consumer, if you're using gas heating today, you don't have to switch out your furnace or your cooktop and whatnot. You can switch to renewable natural gas and lighten your environmental impact. Maybe I'll just leave it at that.
Thanks.
I agree. I think education, misinformation, and influence from around your own network is probably one of the big factors, and then the other one would be cost. But I think also people like their habits and like their routines, and it's hard to get out of, you know, if you're used to cooking with gas versus electric, it's hard to change. Or if you've always driven a truck, you know, and you like getting a coffee from the gas station, then like those are the habits that you don't think about changing unless someone comes up to you and says, what about changing? So I think people are comfortable in their routines and in their echo chambers. And also, yeah, I think the investment that it takes, even though it's better in the long term, it feels like a big investment in the short term.
Thank you.
I'll round it out. So on the cost front, I think that's closely linked to government support. You know, all of these new technology adoptions that we've seen from telecom, like putting the lines in the ground or even putting power in our homes, it required a lot of government support for adoption. And we look at the same thing with, you know, solar on rooftops, or as we talk about battery electric, the home charging. But again, going back to hydrogen, the cost to produce hydrogen at small scale is actually really huge. And we need to see that support for our companies. H-Tech is a very good partner using our technology. They're owning and operating our hydrogen dispensers. They need that subsidy to get it down to that all-powerful dollar, the price range per kilometer that you want to drive your hydrogen-powered vehicle. And it's just a placeholder till we get there, till we scale up, until it is self-sufficient. So I think the role of government is huge in that respect. And the role of government on regulation also comes back to the communication and misperceptions, the safety. Once we have a good feeling on safety for a lot of the new technologies, adoption just becomes much more readily apparent.
Thank you all.
If I could just add on one more time, I think it's also that tipping point of when enough people adopt a change that it becomes normal. So yeah, I think there's an invisible tipping point that people see.
Thanks again.
Thank you for the question. Please.
Hello there. Hello there, everybody. My name is Emmanuel. Thank you very much for being here. I work for ABH Engineering. We help mining companies to do their technical studies. My question for you is actually directly about mining. As you know, well, in order to do that transition from fuel energies into the green revolution, we will require a tremendous amount of metals. We simply have a deficit in the supply of critical metals, copper, silver, graphite, you name it, we don't have enough. And one of the main factors for that is simply because it takes, 10 years to 15 years to develop a new mine. Mostly of these, well, one of the major reasons is because of the permitting side. I know it's out of question, but what is your opinion on maybe decreasing the time required to get a permitting for the mining industry? Thank you.
I'm going to jump right in because this is something I could talk about for the rest of the afternoon, but I won't. Yes, I hear you. It is a big problem. BC is the biggest copper producer in Canada, as you know, but it's really takes quite a long time to get a mine up and running. A couple of things at play there mostly is making sure that we permit properly so we have responsibly operated mines. And everyone has a different view of what that is and what that looks like. So there's a lot of discussion, a lot of pressure, a lot of people to bring to the table to make a decision. But I think as mining adopts more, and other industries, adopt more clean technologies, that it'll become easier to say yes and to get to yes on a permit. Because if you're comparing a copper mine from 20, 30, 40 years ago that's an open pit, that's got diesel trucks driving down to collect the ore, if that's a underground operation that's remotely operated, electric vehicles, a much smaller footprint for those metals that we need for, electric cars, for all of those things, then I think the permitting hopefully will get a little easier if those mines look slightly different than what we all associate them with.
Well, I can't speak exactly for mining, but in the energy sector, I could say that on the permit side, one of the things that we try to do is to engage early and often, right? And just keep engaging your stakeholders and cast a very broad net, right? Government, as you mentioned, and Indigenous stakeholders, First Nations, and communities. You could go right down to your customers. I mean, just cast that engagement net wide and engage often.
And I'm a metallurgist, but I'm a bad metallurgist, so I don't know anything about this. I recycle my cans.
Thank you
very much. Thank you. Please.
Thank you. I come from the other side. I used to work in the refinery for 15 years, working in Fort Max, so called it a day in January. So I don't know whether this question is for this forum. You know that we are integrated today. You can stop immigration or anything, but you cannot stop the air from Asia blowing into Canada or things like that. We are working a lot on decarbonization and things like that. But on the other side, if you take Asia, for example, my colleague sitting here, he's from Nigeria. The power production there is probably about 5,000 megawatts. And the population is about 200, 220 million people. So we have developed to a certain extent, and the aspiration of every country is to develop to that extent. India, China, they are all developing. But they are operating their coal mines so that they can power their electricity through that. So whatever gains that we are making in the Western world, like US and Canada, is being offset from that side. So are we working together to really, make the world a better place, or we are working hard and then they are generating more? We cannot blame them because they also want to progress, but are we working together in this?
I can go. Well, yes, we are hopefully all working together. But if we're talking from a climate perspective, the way the global international UNFCCC, United Nations Framework on Convention of Climate Change, perhaps, the way it works is that every country, of course, is responsible for their own emissions. And we are working, or they are working, big T, are working on a framework, Article 6, whereby we can recognize emissions reductions in one place and transfer those emissions reductions to another geographic location outside of the country. So we are a global community, right? The climate's the climate. Climate doesn't recognize political borders, so we all do what we can That being said, we are, like, as a private company, FortisBC is bound by the regulations by British Columbia. We are still trying to look for ways whereby we can support offshore emissions reductions. For example, we have the Tilbury liquefied natural gas facility here in Delta, just next door, and we've been using that facility to supply liquefied natural gas to offshore users in Asia, whereby they can replace coal with the LNG that we produce here in BC, which is among the lowest carbon intensity LNG in the world, by the way. So that's one example of a way that we can support each other internationally in reducing emissions. But you're right, at the end of the day, many of the actions that are taken, the focus is domestically. Unfortunately, the global climate framework has been developed at the national level, which cascades down provincially and then locally. But look how long it took for us to get to Kyoto and then the Paris Accord. They're working on ways to enable that to further cascade to support support each other in regional reductions.
But you know that US didn't sign Kyoto and Paris Accord. USA didn't sign the Kyoto and Paris. Kyoto they signed, but they didn't sign the Paris Accord.
True. There are definitely, these are massive negotiations that happen. Maybe I won't comment on that. I think, yeah,
I'll add that there are certain ways that PowerTech is able to support the global power community. We have customers in over 40 countries across the world, and a lot of our power system solutions, whether we offer techno-economic solutions for is this the right technology for you to upgrade your systems, or in developing countries where the infrastructure isn't in place, and we can advise on what we've learned over decades or even a century. So from the power side, that's probably where PowerTech offers most global services. It does require the connections to be made. We do testing of generation in Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Australia, across Europe, and we've developed quite a name, but often we are waiting for people to come to us. I'm only 2 months as Director of Business Development. I'll work on it, but trying to get the global recognition of what value we bring to these types of attention to large operations and to renewable sources.
Kylie, we'll go to you, and then one last question from the audience.
I have a pretty short answer. You're right. We all have to do better. We have to help each other. And, Canada's ahead in a lot of ways, and we have to find ways to share that knowledge and to bring others along with us. So, yep, agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kylie. Wally.
I have one more question.
Sorry, we're just going to give him an opportunity just because of time, and then we can always network
No
after.
worries. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wale. I'm the founder of Sabiling Consulting Limited. We are trying to start an accelerator hub here in British Columbia. So my question, a couple of questions, but the first one is going to be pretty quick, is the renewable compressed gas, is that a replacement for the CNG? Yes or no?
Can you repeat that, please?
The RNG, is it a replacement for the CNG?
It can be. We can compress renewable natural gas. Renewable natural gas is chemically identical to natural gas. So we call it biomethane versus methane. It's just that it's generated from naturally occurring feedstocks, and we don't actually pull it out of the ground, whereas we do with conventional gas. So molecularly, it's the same molecule, so we can also compress renewable natural gas to make compressed natural gas.
Okay, just a quick question on that. How many CNG location do we have here in British Columbia where you can actually change your vehicle to use a CNG compressed CNG as fuel?
I'm sorry, how many CNG stations do we have in BC today?
Yes.
That actually is a very good question. I think FortisBC has 14. Can somebody correct me on that?
Oh.
FortisBC owns some stations, and then our partners and our customers also own a few stations, a number of stations, I shouldn't just say a few. But I believe FortisBC owns about 14. Please don't quote me on that. I can get back to
the
you.
reason why I asked this question is we build technology, right? I think adoption is key, right? Because you're building for people to use. So if we're building technology that people can't use, then we're actually not solving the real problem. Like right now, petrol is very expensive in Nigeria, where I'm from, and they're looking at using CNG as an alternative, right? They don't know how to. I'm not sure if they figured out how to actually distribute it, but I've also looked at Canada and I asked myself, okay, you're talking about using like EVs? Like, okay, what if I want to have an hybrid car? Can I have EV with CNG or RNG, for instance, right? But where do I go to get the CNG? I still drive a car, an old car, but the question is, I still use petrol. Can I change that to even start with CNG, which has been around for decades, right? Without even talking about the RNG.
Sorry, why am I talking about RNG?
So my question is like the CNGs, like how do we, so right now if I want to change my car to use a CNG, how do I go about that? And how do I ensure that I get a CNG when I need it?
I'll just say that perhaps, maybe I'll just qualify this, that the business case for CNG works best when you're looking at return to base vehicles, so fleet vehicles. So if you're an individual consumer, it probably makes more sense to convert to an electric vehicle just for ease of access, use, and so on. So I think it really depends on the type of vehicle that you're trying to decarbonize. In the future, again, hydrogen, we see a big role for, again, those return to base heavy-duty vehicles as well. But for personal mobility transportation, the jury is still out, but a lot of research shows that electric vehicles would be the way to go for personal vehicle conversion.
All right. I might argue on that it might be hybrid. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Or hybrid.
And really appreciate that. So we'll finish the questions there and we'll continue with the program. But what I really heard is networking is key. It will take all levels of government to collaborate and come together. We need to network to create that workforce, to find investors, to incubate technologies and ideas. And we need to make sure that the investments are there from provincial, federal, regional governments as well. And so a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you. So it is now my pleasure to move on to the next part of our program. That is the presentation of the Surrey Board of Trade Environment and Business Awards. This is the 18th year that the Surrey Board of Trade has recognized businesses with an award in environmental achievement. And every year we see more businesses participating in environmental, eco-friendly initiatives. Businesses, governments, and citizens must work together to tackle the challenges of an environmental crisis. We have 2 local businesses that will be awarded for their commitment and work in doing their part to be part of the solution. These awards are presented to a Surrey Board of Trade member or a Surrey-based business that has demonstrated exceptional dedication to environmental leadership and or issues. The award recipients are guided by a sense of respect for the environment and demonstrate this initiative consistently. The process for today's awards presentation is as follows. We will read the finalists in each category. The winner will be announced by our sponsors and invited onto the stage for a photo op, and will have the opportunity to say a few words for 30 seconds only. I now ask the following to come join me on the stage to be part of the receiving line. Rory Morgan, Surrey Board of Trade Board Chair. Kim Halowski of FortisBC. Darren Bromley of PowerTech Labs, Jay Rao of EXP Services Inc., and Councillor Linda Annis. Thank you. And the first award will be given to the small business category, and the finalists are Bloom Will Automation Inc. Bloom Will Automation Inc. is a forward-thinking company specializing in sustainable packaging solutions. Bloom Will focuses on creating 100% recycled shipping, packing and shopping bags made entirely from recycled plastics. Wow. By adhering to the Global Recycled Standard 4.0, the company ensures its materials meet international sustainability guidelines, setting a strong example in eco-conscious manufacturing. And by prioritizing using recycled materials, the company significantly reduces the demand for raw material extraction, conserves natural resources, and helps lower carbon emissions. Round of applause. That's fantastic work. Our second finalist is Green Wave Recycling, Inc. Green Wave Recycling, Inc. is committed to post-industrial waste recycling, transforming surplus materials into reusable resources to reduce the environmental impact of industries across BC. The company collects plastic and paper waste from various sectors, extracting valuable material to minimize landfill use and promote sustainable waste management. Since the project's inception, Green Wave has successfully diverted over 3,000 tons of waste from landfills annually. In recent weeks, they have collected over 400 tons of materials, representing a significant recycling initiative targeting industrial scrap. This initiative has notably reduced greenhouse gas emissions, equivalent to removing 1,000 cars from the road each year. Round of applause for Green Wave Recycling, Inc. And our third finalist is Lomico Metals Incorporated. Lomico Metals is at the forefront of sustainability and environmental stewardship in the critical minerals industry. Focused on the exploration and development of graphite and lithium, Lomico supports the global shift toward renewable energy and electric vehicles. The company commits to sustainable practices through initiatives like the La Lutra project, which has seen significant growth in graphite resources, and Lomico's UL Ecologo certification, which verifies its adherence to environmental, ethical, and community standards. Recent accomplishments include securing $8.35 million grant from the U.S. Department of Defense and additional funding from the Canadian government, further cementing its role in building a sustainable circular economy for North America's energy transition. Congratulations to all the finalists. Amazing. And now I ask Jay Rao to announce the winner for the small business category. Jay.
Thank you, Jazru. I'm really honored to present this award. And the award, the winner of the 2024 Surrey Environment and Business Award in the small business category is, round of applause, Green Wave Recycling, Inc. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, all. And I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Surrey Board of Trade for providing us with this wonderful opportunity at this event. And I am especially thanks to my family for unwavering support. And I would like to also extend my special thanks to Baljinder Bhatti and Maxine from the Fast Track Appliances, who have been incredibly supportive during my initial journey in Canada. We are committed to serving our local community and protecting the environment at the Green Wave Recycling. We focus on post-industrial plastic and paper recycling, converting industrial scrap into the reusable process raw material. I have been in a business for the last 20 years, but I came to Canada in 2020 as an investor. And I'm currently working around like 15 to 16 hours for my Indian and Canadian companies. receiving this award in my first achievement in my Canadian venture. So once again, thank you very much for Surrey Board of Trade to giving us this like a wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again. So, in the large business category, the finalists are Dan's Legacy Foundation, which is a not-for-profit that provides trauma-informed and culturally sensitive counseling and wraparound support services to youth at risk. They prioritize sustainability through interconnected training programs. In 2024, they launched the Warehouse Swamper program, where students recover surplus food from grocery stores. Cook training students then repurpose the foods into meals, which are sold through Dan's Diner. This addresses both food waste and food insecurity. The program teaches culinary skills, restaurant operations, and the importance of reducing waste and spoilage. Environmental stewardship is central to Dan's Legacy's mission, with initiatives like recycling, composting, and minimizing commuting through remote work. Thank you to the Dan's Legacy and their amazing work. Our second finalist is Executive Mat Services, which is revolutionizing the mat service industry through innovative, sustainable practices. Their carbon net zero floor matting program features the CDF low carbon, low water mat cleaning machine, which reduces carbon emissions by over 90% and recycles nearly 100% of the water used. Additionally, their weather stopper mats made with recycled PET fiber and natural rubber have the lowest carbon footprint in the industry. These eco-friendly mats outperform traditional nylon mats in dirt and moisture control. They offset any remaining emissions through paracarbon.org's verified emission reductions, ensuring true carbon neutrality. Congratulations on being a finalist, Executive Mat Services. And our third finalist is Wellons Canada. Wellons Canada is a leader in designing energy systems and lumber drying solutions, specializing in biomass energy and cogeneration for the forestry sector. They have pioneered an innovative on-site water treatment system for lumber kilns, specifically reducing greenhouse gas emissions and operational costs. This system treats highly water-soluble organic contaminants, discharging clean water into local bodies of water. Wellons' advanced oxidation and electro-oxidation technologies ensure minimal environmental impact, aligning with their dedication to innovative, sustainable practices in the forestry industry. Wellons also promotes green energy systems for Indigenous communities, aiming to replace diesel power with biomass heaters that use renewable energy like wood chips to produce heat and electricity. Now I ask Jay Rao to come forward again to introduce and announce the winner for the large business category. Jay.
Thank you again, Jazroop. And I love this suspense, but everybody's done a great job. And the winner of the 2024 Surrey Environment and Business Award in the large business category is Wellons Canada Corporation.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Excellent. Wow, thank you very much. I got to apologize in advance. Unlike all of you who are very well dressed, you can tell I came from our manufacturing plant in Port Hills. So I'll be better next time. This is the first time I've heard of this event, and I'd like to say we're just getting started. We're actually close by the biofuel facility in Surrey that was discussed. Backyard of Port Hills, we got 4 acres there. the thing I love about us the most is we're actually across North America. We're doing all kinds of things, even in Carolina, but we bring it back to Surrey and BC where we can promote and give people jobs in the manufacturing environment. So a lot of cool stuff I heard about today that I'd like to explore. Lots of other projects I could talk all day about different things we're doing. Canada's first electrically powered kiln in Quebec, 40 megawatts. We're taking turkey litter and converting it to power and depolluting waters in Carolina. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. So really special thanks to the Surrey Board of Trade for finding me as well in part, and then very insightful panel today. I found that really, really cool, really exciting. Yeah, can't wait to be here next year because we'll probably have another project on the go. So thank you very much. Really humbling. Really, really grateful for the opportunity.
Well, congratulations to all the businesses recognized this afternoon. I now ask the members of our receiving line to please take their seats. Thank you. Now, the Surrey Board of Trade's Environment and Business Awards event is an important way to showcase what is possible and provide inspiration, as we heard today, and to instigate change. So it's all about networking. It's all about collaborating. It's all about ensuring that all levels of government are working together. Now, I would like to once again congratulate all of you for being here today because you are all environmental champions because you showed up to support. So thank you. And I would also like to once again thank the sponsors of this event, our co-presenting sponsors, Fortis BC and PowerTech Labs, our supporting sponsors, Invest Vancouver, a service of Metro Vancouver, the award sponsor, EXP Services Inc., community sponsor, Foresight Canada, media sponsor, Surrey Now Leader, and our progress partners, Chamber of Commerce Group Insurance Plan by SNF Group Benefits, the law firm of Faskin, Focus College, Lighthouse Labs, and Western Community College. Thank you all. And just a reminder as we wrap up, we have a lot of interesting and amazing events coming up. On September 27th is the Business and Tech Forum, part of the International South Asian Film Festival. On October 2nd is the Surrey All Candidates Dialogue ahead of the BC election. On October 4th is our BC Lions Networking Night. October 8th is the Networking at Night at Elman's Casino with BCLC. And October 10th is the BC Election Leadership Dialogue. We have David Eby and Sonia First Snow confirmed. We learn about small business insurance for entrepreneurs on October 16th. And October 26th is Metro Vancouver's Black Business Expo by Yoruba Social and Cultural Association in partnership with the Surrey Board of Trade. And on October 29th is the Surrey Development Industry Forum. Thank you all for attending and make it a great business afternoon.